I will, let me just look at one thing in my file again. Okay. All right. Okay, ready when you guys are?
We are.
Okay. Hello, everyone. We enjoyed meeting with you and giving you a tour last month. And we left that meeting thinking there were a lot of synergies between our organizations for partnership. We're here today to collaborate on a scope of work document. We're scheduled to meet for 1 hour. We will discuss space, staffing, and equipment and action items. Are there any other topics we should cover while we're together? When we leave this meeting with a draft of the scope of work document, this will enable Sunland to prepare a pricing proposal, which will be the next step in creating a partnership that's very fruitful for both parties. We can commit to having our pricing proposal to you by February 28th. Does that plan meet your expectations? Moving to and the next stage, we would like to know if there's been a vendor selection date identified. The client might say, we need to have this project completed by February 1st. We would also like to know, has a budget been established for this project? And the customer would say, we are expecting to be below our current existing costs. And we would also like to know, would we have the ability to send our team in at least 90 days before the start of the relationship? And the customer would say no. We always ask though. And at the transitioning of our relationship, we understand it's important to you to get started timely, no later than May 1st. We understand it's important to you to have a cost structure that is below your current rate, and that the expectation is that we deliver on our commitments to you without joint partnership prior to the start of the operation. And so we think that the next most important best steps for moving ahead would be to sign a contract agreement that outlines our costs and the expectations of our service levels. Does this sound like the right next step for our team?
Good, good. What do you feel you did well?
I think that we can certainly acknowledge customer needs when they're clear with us, or if we've probed enough to get to them. It would probably take more questions than what I just illustrated to get to the real needs. But if I think our organization and myself are pretty good at usually understanding a need and sharing how we can do so. We can take care of it. I think probably what I would say could be better, if that's where we're going next, is being more providing the value of the next steps. And even also, like we said last time, the value of the agenda for the meeting as well.
Good, 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 good observations, constructive. Sven, from your vantage point, what were Amy's strengths? Your microphone is off.
Apologies. No, she nicely transitioned from the different phases. So it was quite fluent, which makes it feel more natural.
Yep. If you were to make recommendations, what recommendations would you make for the future?
I don't have anything at the moment.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Amy. Let's switch horses and we'll go over to Heaven. It's Sven.
Okay. Hello, everyone. In thinking of our call today, I wanted to reflect on how this came about. So I had a call with Hadrian earlier last week, and we heard about your venture studio initiative, and thought it was well worth connecting today to discuss how we can support you there. So for that reason, we have the call structured in the following way. just a quick personal introduction since there's a few new people on board. Then we do a quick introduction to Venture Studio model, so that we learn about it and get in more detail what you're planning for this. And then do a little company presentation from IRBM, so you know what our capabilities are, and then in the fourth step, kind of look at ways to collaborate or look to synergies. The goal then would be to find ways to collaborate so we can accelerate your drug discovery in a capital efficient manner. Does that sound about right? Yeah, then I would move over. One of the first questions would then be, how are you envisioning to do the wet lab experiments within the venture studio? And they would say, well, we're trying to outsource that. We want it to be a virtual setup, so a project management team which does the experiments or controls the experiments and kind of manages this all, but doesn't necessarily have people in the lab, which are kind of on a payroll. Then the next question would be, what are the resources for projects selected to be part of the venture studio? And we know that already, so that would be they're planning these kind of projects for 2 years with a budget of 3 million. And then what criteria are you looking for when outsourcing the wet lab work? And they would most likely answer high quality, reproducibility, because it's quite a lot of discrepancies between the labs. And because it's so early stage and high risk, they want go, no-go decision points within that, so they can kind of like cut their losses if it doesn't turn out. So yeah, pointing to what we just said, you're looking for high quality lab work with the flexibility to have go, no-go decision points, so that you can yeah, decide early if you want to move forward with this project or not. Is that correct? Yeah, discussing what we just talked about today, we wanted to bring out that you're looking for reliability in terms of experiments, high quality. So we hope that we can help you with this. And the plan would be to have another call where we select a specific project that you're trying to incubate, so that we can show you how we can accelerate the drug discovery expertise, and the projects, and kind of utilize the case study to get into more depth how we can help you. Does that sound about right? That's me.
Okay, very good. What were your strengths?
Well, I try to only loosely stick to my notes, which is, well, I mean, imaginary situation. It's a bit unusual, and the structure doesn't feel natural yet. But yeah, and then if you don't have the interaction, you're kind of missing.
Yeah, you do miss a huge piece when you're not interacting with a real person, because you play off one another, and little expressions or comments or body movements. You know, there's a whole body of study under NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, where you watch how the person is sitting and looking at them, and what their facial reactions are, where they move their arms to, whether they have a closed position or they're open. You know, those things disappear in this environment, but generally you've both done very well in that phase. What would you look to improve next time around?
Yeah, probably the closing. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, be gentle on yourself, though. You've both just done the closing one time. as far as this exercise is concerned. So I think you've both done very, very well, given the time that you had to work with it. And I will send you the video, and you'll have an opportunity to watch that and get further review for yourself. You'll be working on this again tomorrow, but we'll be adding customer concerns to the equation.